toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. I've got my buddy David Croft here with me. We're going through another G.I. Joe Top 10. We're taking a look at the 1990 figures. This was voted on in a poll by the fans on the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, 1982 to 1994 Facebook group. We have a little over 300 votes here.
Almost 400.
Almost 400 votes. We're seeing a little decline in the voting. Not sure if there was poll burnout or just the popularity of the line. People weren't chiming in as much because they didn't collect the figures as much. But we're going to take a look at these top 10 figures. The number 10 spot, we've got Free Fall. I was a fan of Ripcord as a kid.
Same.
I liked Free Fall.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty good. I liked that they went with a more like a brown and gray camouflage. It was very unique for G.I. Joe. He came with pretty good equipment. Well, like the backpack parachute isn't quite as cool because it doesn't have like the integrated harness.
Yeah.
But I think they had sort of condensed the types of materials they were using. They kind of got away from those rubbery web gear things at this point. He's got a good looking helmet with the air mask to it. Mm-hmm. A pretty cool looking gun.
Yep.
I liked him overall.
Yeah, I thought he was a cool figure. This is a guy that didn't really speak to me that much, but I thought it was cool. I still, as an adult, think he's cool. I think his accessories are pretty cool. I thought it was good that they did another parachute guy. It's interesting that they have this free fall guy, and then they have Sky Patrol.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Really interesting that they would do Sky Patrol, not put any paratroopers we already have, and put another paratrooper into the line at the same time. In the number 9 spot, we've got Pathfinder. I liked him a lot as a kid. I do think his accessories are pretty ridiculous, though.
Yes.
He's got hip-mounted machine guns. He's got a weed whacker.
Yes.
And some, like, paint-splattered camo pants.
I mean, he definitely is a bit outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid who had a weed whacker and had to do weed whacking as a kid, I immediately saw this and I was like, why would I want a figure that does yard work? I don't get this. But I do understand the idea of like, hey, as a military unit, we need to be able to clear a path so that we can make it through this jungle or this thick forest or whatever it is. So I get it. I'm just really surprised they made a figure that had a weed whacker.
Yeah.
If they just gave him the guns and he lost the weed whacker, automatically boosted him up.
I could never figure out how he's supposed to use all that stuff. The guns had handles, so it seemed like the hip attachment was just so he could use 2 guns at the same time, but the weed whacker couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was like a little too much equipment.
Yes. Agreed.
In the number 8 spot, we've got Rampart. I had very little experience with Rampart as a kid. I don't think I even knew somebody that had him.
Same.
But he's got a huge gun.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he's loaded for bear. The 90s guys really did come with a lot of accessories.
They did.
And he's got a lot of good paintwork.
I mean, he's a really cool figure. Again, another figure that didn't speak to me that much. I think he's a good sculpt. I wouldn't say he's great, but I think he's good. He does come with an enormous gun, which kind of cool. I mean, he's kind of, cool, but not great.
Yeah. In the number 7 spot, we've got Rock Viper.
Now, this figure to me is kind of great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my vote. I love this figure.
I like him a lot. I had a lot of fun with him as a kid.
I just think they did so many cool little touches with him. I'm surprised he's not higher in the list, to be honest. I don't know about you.
I think it's because he's got the mustache and knocked him down a peg. He's not faceless like the rest of the Cobra Troopers.
Yeah.
So he's got a giant gun.
Yes.
But it pegs on his backpack, which allows him to climb rocks. I thought that was a smart move.
Yes.
The backpack having the string in it worked out really well. Like, it gave you the ability to use the string and hang on to him because you just peg it on his back. That works well for kids. There was, like, the dart sculpt into that, and then he had, like, a dart gun. Although I still think the dart gun was very Cobra La looking.
It was.
An odd-looking accessory.
Like, it almost makes me think it was one of the spike guns for rappelling and climbing. I know it's not that. Right. I don't know. It's just, it was weird. I definitely get the Cobra. I think part of it, not only the reason I think Cobra La is, it's got the rounded kind of bottom part.
Yeah.
But it's also textured. It's not smooth, so it's like this organic thing. And the material the plastic is made out of is a little bit softer, it seems. So I'm kind of like, there's all sorts of things that just seem Cobra La-ish here.
And it's interesting, too, that they picked, like, the maroon and brown for him. It's like it's an unusual color scheme, but it was very cool looking.
Yeah, because you think back to, you have someone like Hit and Run, who's got some of that. You've got a little bit of Outback, who's got some mountain kind of thing, and then of course you've got Alpine, and they're not picking up on any of those colors. So I think it's while I love what they chose, it's not something you would expect.
Yeah. In the number 6 spot, we've got Range Viper. I like Range Viper now, but as a kid, I always thought he was like a little too cartoony with the skull mask. It was something about the card art. When I look at that, I was like, really?
I agree with that. I think the card art doesn't do the figure justice.
Correct.
That's one of those figures that the more you look at it, the more badass that figure is. And I think, like, first glance, I got the same impression. I was like, man, that art, I wonder if part of it is like, they did a poor job of the face, because the rest of the body is pretty good in that illustration. But I think that face does not do it justice. And the accessories he comes with are great. The sculpt on him is great. The color choices are great. But I think, yeah, like the face that they put on that for the card art,
it's a little cheesy or
yeah,
something.
just doesn't do it.
Number 5 is a shocker for me. And I had him as a kid and enjoyed him. But the more I think about him, the more I remember, like, pitching some of his accessories and just thinking he was goofy. Captain Gridiron.
Captain Gridiron.
How did he get so popular?
I am shocked. I mean, how does Captain Gridiron make this list and Saw Viper doesn't make the top 10? Spoiler. But it's terrible. I mean, I'm with you. Like, Captain Gridiron to me is, he's a funny, quirky character, but I would never take him seriously. I don't know why he's so popular, but clearly he's somewhat popular to people. And
I mean, I don't have a problem with the football theme. Like, I get that kids are into that kind of thing. Like, Hardball's kind of cool. Captain Gridiron's kind of cool. But, like, once you get past the football grenades, he's got a decent-looking pistol.
Yeah.
But his main weapon is this weird thing with, like, a bent handle and these big missiles that stick on it that fall. Like, I immediately just threw that aside as a kid. I was like, he can't use this thing. Yeah. So I just had him run around with the pistol and the grenades. I thought it was fun. He's got the little visor. They really put a lot of detail into him and then gave him real weird colors.
Yeah.
Like some real odd shades of green.
Yeah.
I want to know your opinion on Gridiron with the pads. Are they elbow pads or are they shoulder pads? I've seen him pictured both ways.
I've actually seen them, like, on the bicep here.
Okay.
So I have all sorts of, like, weird impressions. When I first saw them, I thought they were elbow pads.
That's what I used to use them as.
But then I have seen them clipped on biceps, like they are protecting, I don't know, biceps. And then
I saw a picture recently where somebody had them all the way perched up here, and I was like, whoa, I never even thought about that.
I don't know. I mean, just the quirkiness again of, because that's a figure to me, I'll say, in my mind, they took football too far with that figure. They jumped the shark with that one.
Yeah. In the number 4 spot, we're back to the Frogmen. We've got Undertow.
Yeah.
He's a really good looking figure.
He
like
really
a really
is.
Nice paint scheme, lots of accessories. I don't know if that he screams Iron Grenadier, considering he's from that sub team.
Which I think a lot of people may or may not really realize.
Just kind of consider him a Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think he's great. I think they did a really, really good job with him. I mean,
comes with the Barracuda.
I was going to say, I mean, the Barracuda, like, alone, like, what do you think? Best Cobra animal? I mean, the Manta Ray is pretty cool.
Manta Ray's up against the Warthog.
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's cool.
Barracuda.
It's really cool. I think they did a great job with him. I think you immediately recognize this is a guy who's in the water. He's badass. You don't mess with him.
He's got, like, a jet sled thing like wetsuit, but it has offensive capability. It has a missile on it. He's got the little
he can do
trident.
something.
Yeah.
He can attack or defend himself at least.
It's cool.
Yeah.
In the number 3 spot, we've got Salvo. Somebody was watching Commando, the Schwarzenegger movie, when they came up with this guy.
Yeah, they did.
A big, beefy dude with a giant missile launcher on his shoulder.
Yep.
I know it captured my imagination as a kid.
Yeah.
I thought he was a cool figure.
Yep.
I'm not sure about the landmine gun. That thing was a little odd to me. That was kind of like Gridiron's gun. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
And also the briefcase was really odd to me.
Yep.
I loved the briefcase as an accessory in general. Like, that would be like a MacGuffin. Like Cobra's got the briefcase, we gotta go get it. But, like, I never really gave it to Salvo. He carried around that giant missile launcher and...
Yeah. I mean, it just didn't seem to fit him.
I don't know. I don't know what it was supposed to be.
I mean, I like the idea of them bringing that rocket launcher to G.I. Joe and to a figure. I get that. I don't think they did a great job of executing it, but I like it. I just wish they would have done a more polished... Like, I'll give you an example. If they would have made that figure in 85, 86, 87, I think we would have gotten a much different figure that we all would have loved. Whereas in 90, you're kind of like, yeah, it's cool, but not great.
He's got these weird straps on his leg. I'm not really sure what those go to.
Yeah.
The Right of Might I thought was kind of neat.
That was cool.
On his shirt, and it definitely... I was more okay with the T-shirt this time. It wasn't Outback. It wasn't a white shirt. It felt a little bit more militaristic. It's an interesting figure.
Yeah.
The number 2 figure, this is an interesting one. I know a lot of people like this guy. I never had experience with him as a kid, but he definitely has impressive accessories. We've got Bullhorn.
Yeah. Yeah, the funny thing to me is, I don't love this figure. I love the fact that you can build a sniper rifle. I don't love the megaphone. But the thing is, and I was not collecting in 1990, so this figure didn't resonate with me. But I watched The Negotiator when I was a young adult, and I love that movie. So that's what I try to think about when I look at Bullhorn. He has no resemblance to it, but...
It's really interesting, though, that they would put a hostage negotiator guy in G.I. Joe. I mean, there's definitely a place for that.
Yeah.
You know, just like we have SWAT guys and things like that, you know, G.I. Joe encompasses all branches of military and other protection agency kind of things like that. But just kind of a new direction.
Yeah, and for it to be the second most popular in 1990, I'm surprised. I mean...
I think it's the sniper rifle in the briefcase.
There's Laser Viper on here, Saw Viper, which we mentioned, Metalhead, Ambush. There's plenty of characters that I just feel would have done better, or should have done better, or I expected to do better than Bullhorn.
And our number 1 figure, we get Army Builders in the top a lot. We've got Nightcreeper.
Yep.
This is one of the weirdest color schemes that just works.
Don't try and explain it. It just works.
It just works.
And it's great.
Gray, and it's purple, and it's maybe some
And the
maroon.
backpack, I mean, weird. And I love the 2 swords.
One's got a wave to it. The other one's got these leaf barbs on it. It's got this giant crossbow.
Yeah.
Just a really, like, nutso figure. I say the only thing that I wish they could have done is figured out a way to, like, attach both swords to the backpack. But the one with the barbs obviously just wouldn't really work that way. But he's a cool-looking figure. They used the Nightcreepers in an interesting way in the comic books with them, and in their file cards with them being a set of high-tech, like, mercenaries.
Yep.
Very cool character and a great army builder.
I like your idea about the backpack. The one thing that I always thought was a little weird was the visor. The visor just didn't seem natural to their uniform to me. I don't know if it needs to feel more like maybe like 91 Snake Eyes' visor or 89 Snake Eyes' like really thin visor. They just they were a little big but not too big and didn't seem to mold to fit to the face well. I get the kind of helmet and garb that they were going for. I don't know what it is. Just something was a little off to me. I still love the figure. I think it's great, but there was one thing that would be the thing I'd kind of go, could you maybe fix that sculpt a little bit?
Alright, so thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. In the comments down below, let us know what your thoughts are on the 1990s figures, and check back for more top 10 G.I. Joe lists.